Listen to me for a second. Do you know who is secretly controlling your life right now? And no, I'm absolutely not talking about some shadowy government agency or some massive global conspiracy. I'm talking about the people sitting right next to you, the people in your everyday life, the ones who know exactly how to trigger your emotions, how to extract your secrets, and how to completely distract you from your goals. You might not even realize it's happening, but trust me, you are exposed.
So consider this explainer your highly classified mission briefing. Today we are pulling intel from a really fascinating source that teaches us how to literally think like a spy. Now, to be clear, this isn't about Hollywood espionage or creeping around in the shadows wearing a trench coat. No, it's about something much more powerful. It's about transforming you into a master of your own psychology. It is quite literally the ultimate survival dossier for navigating everyday life. So buckle up.
All right, let's jump straight into phase 1, the spy mindset.
If you want to take back control, you have to start viewing everyday life as a high-stakes battlefield of attention and information. Look around. Most people out there are massive liabilities to themselves. They operate with what we'll call a normal mind. You know exactly what this looks like, right? They react incredibly fast to everything, they trust way too quickly, and they talk constantly and loudly. By doing that, they are basically handing over a map of their vulnerabilities to anyone who's paying attention. But a spy mind, that operates on a completely different frequency. It observes. It stays completely calm. A spy doesn't just walk into a room and broadcast their entire life story to strangers. They enter quietly, they scan, they listen, and most importantly, they gather intelligence.
Which leads us perfectly into phase 2, observe more, speak less.
Okay, here is your first mandatory survival tactic. When your mouth is louder than your awareness, you are going to completely miss the hidden threats in the room. You just will. A true spy never ever trusts mere words. Words are cheap, right? Anyone can say anything. Instead, you need to rigorously observe repeated behaviors. Think about the patterns. If someone is disrespecting you repeatedly, if they are lying constantly, or if they only magically appear when they need a favor from you, those aren't just coincidences. Those are undeniable patterns. And on the flip side, what about that person who is supporting you quietly and honestly behind the scenes? That is a pattern too. The takeaway here is simple. People can fake their words all day long, but their patterns never lie.
There's a core philosophy to this entire mindset. It goes like this. The person who observes more and speaks less often understands more than the person who talks all the time. I really want you to let that sink in for a moment. In our society, we often think we need to be the loudest in the room to be heard. But strategic silence, it is not a weakness. It is a massive, undeniable superpower. It's exactly what allows you to quietly gather vital intelligence, protect your own inner peace, and conserve your precious energy for things that actually matter.
Now let's shift gears to phase 3, master your emotions.
Consider this a severe warning for all recruits tuning into this explainer. If an enemy, or frankly just a toxic person in your life, knows exactly how to trigger your emotions, they literally hold the remote control to your life. They push a button and you react. A mentally weak person will say, well, I was angry, so I just said it. And they end up completely destroying relationships or opportunities with careless words. But someone with a spy mindset, they say, I was angry, so I stayed silent until I could think clearly. This specific mindset shift is your ultimate defense mechanism against anyone trying to manipulate you.
And it all boils down to one incredibly simple yet totally game-changing concept. The power of the pause. I'm talking about pausing before you fire off that furious text message, pausing before you react to a really subtle, passive-aggressive insult at work. In that tiny, microscopic fraction of a second, when you just force yourself to take a breath, something magical happens. You stop being a slave to your temporary feelings, and you step up to become the strategic leader of your own response.
Moving on to phase 4, hide your next move. One of the absolute most disastrous mistakes you can make in life is exposing a new, fragile dream to people who completely lack the vision to understand it. We actually need to fundamentally redefine the word information today. Your goals, your big plans, your private struggles, your next career steps, you must start treating all of this as highly classified intelligence. Exposing your plans to the wrong hands or blasting it all over social media too early just allows that information to be weaponized against you.
So to protect your mission, you need to follow this strict 3-step execution protocol. Step 1, build in silence. Step 2, move with extreme discipline. And step 3, let the results speak for themselves. You see, you don't actually get true, lasting happiness from just announcing your big dream to the world. You get it from actually building the thing. And tactically speaking, it's brilliant.
Your enemies simply cannot attack a move they cannot see.
All right, let's dive into Phase 5, read the room.
This phase is all about extreme situational awareness. You have to constantly be decoding the room around you by comparing the fake words people speak against the undeniable truth of their actions. Check this out. They'll look you right in the eye and say, "I support you." But if you look closely, their body language leaks visible jealousy when you win. Or they'll say, "I care about you," but every single action they take is purely out of selfishness. They say, "I am with you," but the absolute second your life gets hard, poof, they vanish. The lesson here? Always trust the action over the dialogue. Because of this dynamic, you need to constantly be asking yourself one critical filtering question. Is this situation actually worth my full energy? Because here's the truth. Not every room deserves your presence. Not every petty argument deserves your opinion or your time. Sometimes, the absolute smartest tactical move you can possibly make is to simply stay quiet. Let them talk themselves into a corner and just walk away.
Which brings us to our final phase, Phase 6, calm under pressure.
We have officially reached the climax of our briefing today. Look, everything we've discussed so far, it's pretty easy to do when you're sitting comfortably at home, right? But pressure. Pressure reveals people. A spy's true training is only really tested when the mission goes completely sideways. Anyone can smile and be polite when life is easy, but maintaining absolute ice-cold composure when you are being insulted, when you're being doubted, or when your plans are falling apart, that's the real test. In those moments, panic is a luxury you simply cannot afford.
To prevent that panic, you need to have pre-planned contingencies. You need to know your moves before the board even changes. When you are angry, your absolute smartest move is silence. When you are confused about a situation, your best move is waiting until the smoke clears. When you are hurt, it's healing quietly rather than bleeding on everyone else. And when you are completely overwhelmed, do not try to fix your whole entire life all at once. Just focus on one single step in front of you. You have to literally speak calmness into your own mind to take back control of the wheel.
And all of this leads us to this really profound realization. Diamonds are formed under pressure. You don't forge an unbreakable, incredibly powerful mind by living a soft, easy life where nothing goes wrong. You build it by facing extreme difficulties with absolute, unshakable emotional control. Every piece of criticism, every failure, every setback, it is all just training data. But, and this is a big but, it's only useful training data if you can stay calm enough to actually learn from it.
Which brings us to the end of today's explainer. Remember, your life is your mission. Your peace of mind, your personal growth, your entire future. It is all on the line here. Now that you've been handed this dossier, the choice is entirely yours. Are you going to just continue walking through life with your mind completely asleep, reacting to every little thing? Or are you finally ready to take control, observe the unseen, and start thinking like a spy? Let me know what you think.